I sent an email to Henry Waxman. I said, read Atlas Shrugged, you're in it.
They all are.
I'd like to bring on right now, it is our distinct pleasure to bring on a gentleman from Vets for Freedom. He's going to talk about some of the cuts in our Defense Department. It's funny, we can't cut anything. You know, the only thing we can cut besides defense is school vouchers for black kids in the inner city of Washington, D.C. We can cut that. Oh yeah, we ain't got enough money for that. Anyway, but defense is really getting jammed here by this administration, and he said he was going to do it. I mean, so it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. So to discuss that, from the Vets for Freedom, Dennis Bartow II. Come on out here, Dennis.
Oh my goodness, look at all you people. First of all, I want to say thank you so much and God bless you. I can tell by most of the signs you probably support the troops. Maybe? All right. Awesome. Well, and their mission, amen. I was told earlier this gentleman right here in the front is a son overseas right now serving, and I want to say thank you very much for your son's service. God bless you. Well, there's been a lot more intellectual types up here than me, so I can't really go over all the different things that they've discussed, but I do remember one thing that Ronald Reagan said to, remember him? He said, beware of somebody that says, I'm here from the government and I'm here to help. Anyway, that's probably paraphrasing. But anyway, yeah, what astonished with me was that the Obama administration actually found time to cut anything, and they started with defense. His first decision that he tried to do was to make veterans pay for their own health care at VA healthcare facilities. Yeah, now I've been to VA healthcare facilities, they're very fine facilities. If I could afford my own, I would, but you know, it is what it is. But anyway, when I was asked to speak here, I thought, well, my God, what am I going to say? This is the most people I've ever spoken to. And I actually prayed to God, whom I believe in very strongly. It's gotten me through a lot of tough times, and as Ronald Reagan said, there are no atheists in foxholes either. I know that to be a fact. But I guess what I started thinking about was the fact that I'm pro-life. I'm pro-limited government and low taxation. Let's see, I'm pro-gun. And God love it, I believe in states' rights and the 10th Amendment. And let's see, I've been to combat in Iraq, and I've been to hazardous duty zones of Kuwait, Kosovo, Oman. So guess what that makes me, everybody? I'm a right-wing extremist. Yeah. Can you believe it? 16 years in the Army celebrated in about a week, okay? My friends are probably the ones serving overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan and even down in Guyana at this very moment. Guys that'll be in my wedding in a few short months. Can you imagine their chagrin that they found out that they're a right-wing extremist too? Because let me tell you, you probably don't believe this, but most of the people in the military are a little right-leaning. Now, and I don't know if you noticed, but the administration doesn't seem to understand this either. A few weeks ago, he took it upon himself to go to Camp Lejeune, and first of all, let me hear my Marines out there. Hoorah! All right, I knew there were some of you out there. He went to Camp Lejeune to actually talk about the time when we're going to stop having combat missions and operations there. There was 4,000 Marines in that enclosed area, whatever he was speaking, and you couldn't hear a peep except for the handful of people they got that, you know, standing behind him and whatnot. So he's out of touch with us, but I guess the bottom line is just a very, very little bit. But I guess that if my buddies are here today, and if they can impart one thing upon you, is that they're fighting overseas for freedom against oppression. In fact, my unit's motto was De Oppresso Liber, okay, which means to free the oppressed, okay? That's what we are fighting to do in foxholes, in jungles and deserts all around this world. And you know what? Yeah, that's right. That's right. They're, extremists, crazy. Well, let me tell you what. Maybe the administration should be a little afraid of us because, you know what? They're going to come home and they're going to get active, okay? They're not going to forget Harry Reid in April 2007 saying the war is lost. They're not going to forget John Kerry saying that we kick in doors in the dead of night and terrorize innocent civilians. And please, does anybody know who John Murtha is? Stop me if you've heard this one, everybody. Stop me if you've heard this one, but he said we murdered innocent civilians in cold blood. And all those guys were, you know, exonerated in their own ways, and he's never said anything about it. So, well, I'm not going to say anything that'll put me on any watch list or anything like that, which I probably already am just for being here. But just as we have the POW flags that say we'll never forget this veteranry, this right now, mine right now, fighting this war around the world. We're young. I have a friend right now who got out of the military and is now running for state senate in Ohio. That's right. That's right. He's running for state senate in Ohio. He believes everything that I've said and more. And this is what we are going to do. We're going to be active. And this is what I would charge each and every one of you to do, is to go out there and get active. Fight the fight here, okay? And I mean with, you know, good policy and sound thoughts. Educate yourself. I just picked up Mark Levin's Liberty and Tyranny. Has anybody heard of it? Yeah, the fastest, selling book, I think, in the history of Amazon, Barnes & Noble. They can't keep it in print. But basically it talks about liberty and tyranny, and these people aren't liberals, they're statists, okay? So, okay, liberals are anti-authoritarians by nature. Our forefathers were classical liberals in their way. Anyway, I'm digressing, but I want to say, get active, get out there, educate yourself, take the fight to them. It's not too late. God bless you, God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it's funny, talking about Harry Reid and saying saying of the surge, the war is lost. I have a story I want you to take back to your buddies. It's a story I've told on the air a number of times, but the rating companies tell us that until you tell something on the air about 150 times, not everybody hears it. How many of you remember a couple of years ago, just before the surge, all of a sudden in the House of Representatives comes this proposal, this measure, to declare the Armenian genocide of the Coptic Christians, to declare it to be a genocide committed by the Turks. Do you remember that? And I'm thinking to myself, where the hell did that come from? You know, what in the, how did this get on anybody's list of things to do today? I mean, the genocide was what, in 1913 or 18? My head was spinning. Well, it failed, and some people made the point, geez, we really shouldn't do that because we're going to make the Turks angry, and we need the airport in Turkey. We need to be able to get our supply lines across the border into Iraq. And I didn't think any more of it until I got a report from one of our back channel people who told us that while she was in Syria kissing the posterior of Bashar Assad, Nancy Pelosi